Hey everyone, my name's Callie Chappelle, and thank you for watching this video, Introduction to Debate Part 2. This video is part of a longer video series that I'm creating called Go Fight Win, and it's a video series aimed at teaching novices the basics of debate to try to get you into the activity that I think is really awesome. So let's get started. Who am I? My name's Callie Chappelle again, and I'm currently a debater for the University of Michigan. In high school, I debated for Traverse City Central High School. I am a second negative, first affirmative speaker, and at the end of my introduction for each video, I include some kind of fun fact about myself. And so I say, in the plural for novice, I say novices, even though the rest of my team says novi or navi. I don't even know what they say. They say all sorts of stuff. So I'm curious, what do you say about plural for novices? So you should include that in the comment bar. So welcome. First, I already did the introductions, but just a quick reminder to make the most out of these videos, you should definitely take notes and rewatch bits you need re-explained. We're going to be hitting you with lots of info, so if you ever get confused or just need to re-hear something, always feel free to pause the video and go back. Hopefully we'll have worksheets and or supplemental materials that go along with the video, so check in the video description to see if I posted any of those. If I don't, shoot me an email or say in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Next, take a deep breath. You don't need to memorize it all. But what we do expect you to do is to be familiar with everything in the video. It's a building process, so even at the end of this video, if you understand what a site and what a tag and what a card text is, that's great. Finally, a disclaimer, your coach may like things differently. It's not my way or the highway. It's not an end-all be-all thing. Everybody debates in a little bit different style, so if your coach says one thing, you should definitely default to what they say and not to what I say. Also, there are many different styles of debate. This is not the only style of debate. This is not the best style of debate. This is just the style that I was taught and that I am teaching to you because that's what I know best. If you have questions about other styles, always feel free to shoot me an email or comment, and I'll see what I can do to get you hooked up with the resources that you need. So, Throwback Thursday. What did we cover in the last video, Introduction to Debate Part 1? 3 big things. What makes debate awesome? We talked about cool people that did debate and also real-world skills that debate helps you with, what debate is and is not to get a better idea of what the activity looks like, and finally a general idea about what a debate looks like. So you have to know that there are things that the aff and neg must prove and that there are particular times different debaters speak in an organized fashion. If you have any questions about what we covered last time, definitely go back and rewatch that video because I'm going to assume that you've got that down pat for this video. Alright, so question to you. Can you brainstorm ways that the U.S. could increase its non-military exploration and or development of the Earth's oceans? Think about it for a sec. Jot some ideas down. Pause the video if you need to. Okay, let's say that you brainstorm some ways. No? That's totally okay. Most of us, including myself, didn't know much about the ocean development and or exploration topic off the top of my head. But that's why we use evidence. For me to learn more, I had to research it, and then I wrote down my research, and that's evidence. So, evidence in debate. Cool thing about debate is that you can bring your notes up in the form of evidence when you speak. So, just some terminology, we call individual pieces of evidence cards, like a greeting card, and documents with lots of evidence about the same thing, files. Lucky for you, you don't have to make all the cards and all the files right away because you'll have access to a lot of them that are already prepared for you, either by other debaters just around or by your team individually. So, why do we call them pieces of evidence cards? It actually comes from when debaters would actually photocopy books from the library, cut them out, and then glue them into pieces of cardstock, which they'd bring into debates. And then they would store the cards in expanding file folders. So obviously we don't do that anymore. We debate paperless, which means we just use evidence off a computer instead of like on paper. But the transition has actually only happened over the past couple years as debaters have gotten laptops and they've become cheaper and technology's become more prevalent. To believe it or not, my novice year, and actually most of my JV year as well, we actually debated off of paper. We obviously didn't cut out cards, but we just printed them off a printer. But that transition's been really new. And I'm not that old. I'm 19. Alright, technology and debate. So there's a couple of different programs that most debaters use that you should definitely be familiar with. First is Dropbox. So Dropbox is an online file sharing program. And if you save or alter a file on the Dropbox, which is a file on your computer that is connected to the internet, then that file on everyone's computer will be altered. So I'm going to show you this in a second. We'll switch over to my computer screen, but it's just a folder that's in your Dropbox, on your computer, kind of like the My Documents folder. It's just like that. So a big disclaimer, do not delete things off the Dropbox unless you ask your coach or instructor first. Circle that, star that. Because if you delete a file that's really important, that file gets deleted off every single other person's computer on your team or whoever is part of your Dropbox. That means that all the people on the Dropbox are not going to be happy cats when they see that it's gone. So don't do it. You can't see my face right now, but it's an angry face. All right, verbatim. Verbatim is the second one. So verbatim is a file formatting software in Microsoft Word. You can use Microsoft Word 10 or newer, I think. And what it does is it makes all debate files and cards look uniform. So you can download Verbatim 5 by Googling debate verbatim, and then it's like the first thing that comes up. So you should definitely install both Dropbox and Verbatim on your computer. So don't be this debater. See, this is the awkward duck meme. Goes on Dropbox and makes 5 conflicted copies. When you open a file and save it that another debater has open, then it saves the conflicted copy. It also saves with your name on it, so it's really embarrassing if you make a bunch of conflicted copies because everybody knows who did it. There's no anonymity. It's just like you. Don't do it. All right. So let's go on a field trip to the Dropbox. So before we go, don't freak out. You're going to see a lot of information. You do not need to be familiar with all the terms I'm going to throw around and all the words that you're going to see on the screen. It's okay. All you have to do is just look through the files if you have access to them in the free time. Now, the evidence that I'm going to be using in this series is from the Georgia Novice Debate packet. So if you don't have access to this evidence already, you can just Google Georgia Novice Debate packet for policy debate, and you can download those files for free. Also, if you want to go outside of the packet, you can go to the NDCA Open Evidence Project, and there's all of the debate evidence from all of the various debate camps that's there for you to look at. You don't have to memorize anything right now. So let's go. All right, so, I'm going to go outside of this, and then we're going to see, here's my computer. I'm a pretty cool cat. I've got my taskbar on the side, which allows me to see more things. Highly recommend if you do that. Don't have to, but it's what all the cool debaters do, let me tell you. So let's go and see what a Dropbox looks like. So this is my Dropbox for my senior year. It was the transportation topic, and you can see that it's very well organized. So I have my AF folder here, case nags, counterplans, disads, high-speed rail, random debate camp poster, that probably shouldn't be there, NIB, which was the National Infrastructure Bank, all this stuff. So a speeches folder. So all of the stuff is very well organized. So here's an example. If I go into counterplans, it's even more organized into the different types of counterplans, advantage, app specific picks. So let's say I want advantage counterplans. Look, here are all my different advantage counterplans. EV5s, Bahrain, CCS plank, C-basing. So they're very, very well organized. I also have my Word setup where every time I make a document, I also save a backup because I'm really terrible about deleting files randomly. So if you have a backup, that never happens. So let's take a look at your evidence. So here's the evidence that we're going to be using. So the aquaculture AF, its topicality or a topicality folder, midterms disad, NASA trade-off disad, a theory folder, and a topicality folder. So you should take a look at this evidence and just learn to be familiar with it and at least know where to find it. So here's what a file looks like. So this is the aquaculture AF that was in that folder that we were just at. So we can scroll through. You can see here is a navigation pane, and it is very well organized into different things that you can click on, and it goes straight to where it is in the document. So instead of having to scroll through the entire document, you can just jump exactly where you want to go. So what's cool about verbatim is there's multiple different levels. So you can see here on the navigation pane, there's this level that correlates with this. Let's say this level correlates with this. So if I click on that, it goes straight here. If I expand this, here are all the cards, right? So here's a card. Right there. Here's a card. right there, and it jumps to the individual cards. This allows you to find evidence very quickly in a debate file, which is really imperative and important when you're debating. So that's the benefit of using verbatim. You can see what verbatim does is it just creates a new tab in your Microsoft Word that has lots of debate specific stuff. Don't worry about learning all this stuff right now. We're going to have another video coming out soon that you'll watch that walks you through how to use Dropbox and how to use verbatim and how to use a variety of different technology that we use in debate. So let's go back to our video. Let's go back to our PowerPoint. All right. So yeah, as I said, check out our other videos about how to make blocks, cut cards, and organize a Dropbox for more information. I just want you to be familiar with what these terms are right now. So what's the resolution again? Pause the video, see if you can write the resolution from heart, because you're going to have to know that bad boy by the time the year is done, or before the year even begins. Here it is. Resolved. The USFG, the United States federal government, should substantially increase its non-military exploration and or development of Earth's oceans. So, why so many files? It's because that resolution is so big. The AF can choose any topic to talk about under the resolution. They can use any example of any type of exploration and or development in the Earth's oceans. So, like aquaculture. When I first started, I didn't even know what aquaculture was. So that just shows there's a lot of different topics. But not only does this mean there's a lot of research for the AF, but the neg has to be prepared to respond to any possible AF. So that's a lot of research that everybody collectively has to do. So that's why we have so many files. But yeah, wait, that sounds really crazy. Like, we have to do so much research, but two things. Don't worry. Researching is a lot of fun, and also for novice debaters, a lot of the research is already done for you by other people. So, how do we handle this much research? First, debaters are organized. We want to be able to find files and arguments quickly, so we have to do everything in a hyper-organized way. And second is, like anything, preparation, preparation, preparation. You as novices, you don't have to know everything at once. You can learn a little bit at a time. And in the beginning, I'm going to be honest, it's a little bit confusing. But with practice and work, it gets easier. Think about this. Think about the person who wants to learn how to play piano. The person who practices for an hour each day is going to improve much faster than the person who only practices for 15 minutes or not at all. Just like anything, just like a sport or a musical instrument, debate requires practice, and files are the lifeline of debate. So if you practice by being acquainted with files, by being acquainted with your evidence, then you'll learn to become a pro very quickly. You'll have to learn how to read quickly, you'll have to analyze the evidence, and also be ready for a debate, but all of those things center around your files. So files are like home base. If you know that, then you're really good. So preparation means a greater chance of success. So where did the files come from? Two big sources. First is debate camps. Believe it or not, most debaters attend stay-away camps during the summer where they improve their debate skills. So usually they're held at college campuses and can be between 1 and 7 weeks long. For example, a camp that I attended in high school was the University of Michigan Debate Institutes that I went to for 7 weeks. No, it sounds like a long time. That's a pretty long camp. And this summer, I loved it so much that I actually went back and worked there as a camp counselor. The second place where files come from is your team. So your team also researches throughout the year and produces evidence, but don't worry, before you have to worry about researching and cutting cards, you should learn the basics, which is what we're going to do. So what does a card look like? There's 3 parts. First is a tag. That's a short sentence that sums up what the evidence is about. Usually includes debate lingo. So this is the tag. Global aquaculture is at a crossroads. New positive trends are key to solidify the industry. Here's the second part, the site. So that's this part. It's where you say where you found the evidence. You only say the author and the date, which is bolded. You don't have to read all of this miscellaneous stuff that's not bolded up here. So here you'd say Thorson 414, and if the evidence is not from 2014 or this year, then you'd say the year. So, for example, if it's from 2010, you'd say Smith 10. So other information you should include in a site are fourfold. First is the credentials of the author, so their background, their expertise in the area. You should also include the title of the article and the overall source. So whether that be a website or a database or a journal, you should include the full date the article was published. So for example, if it's from a magazine, you should include like the year, the actual day, and also the month. Or if it's a periodical, you can include the season, if it's like published seasonally, the season and the year. And if it's found online, you should also include the URL. This is the card text. So that's the last part, and that's just the actual part of the evidence that you found. So like the actual book page or the actual section of the website. So it includes all or part of the article. So if you're cutting a card, you can actually only omit parts of the article before and after what you want. So you can't just cut out a chunk in between. So like if I had an article that was like the first paragraph's Callie's awesome, the second paragraph is Callie's horrible, and the third part is Callie's awesome again, I can't just take out the part that says Callie's horrible. I have to include it all. So the important parts of the evidence are underlined and bolded and also highlighted. And the very important parts of the evidence are highlighted. So the highlighted parts is what you read out loud in a debate round. Do not highlight every single word. In fact, it's actually to your benefit to highlight the most efficient way or the bare minimum to prove the point in the tag. So you have to highlight the part so it actually makes a coherent sentence, but you don't have to highlight all, like, an entire sentence. Alright, so this is what a card would sound like in a debate round. In debate, we do this thing called spreading, which is short for speed reading. So because speeches are timed, it's advantageous for us to read as fast as we can to get out as much evidence as we can. Because keep in mind, the other team has to answer all of the arguments that the previous team made. So eventually, you get really fast. So I'm going to read this at 3 different speeds. First, a novice speed. Second, at a JV or a junior varsity speed. And finally, at a full varsity speed. So let's start with novice. Okay, ready? Okay. Global aquaculture is at a crossroads. New positive trends are key to solidify the industry. Thorson 414. Aquaculture is at a crossroads. As a relatively new industry facing the pressure of higher production, it has the opportunity to embrace a new set of sustainable management practices. Industry success and global expansion will come from identifying investment and early development opportunities. Challenges can be addressed through equipment, technology, and best stewardship practices. Opportunities are at an early stage and have not been proven at an industrial level yet, but they could boost profits. Okay? So that sounds reasonable, right? That sounds like I can do that. I can talk that fast. So here's what a junior varsity debater might sound like. Global aquaculture is at a crossroads. New positive trends are key to solidify the industry. Thorson 414. Aquaculture is at a crossroads. Is a relatively new industry facing the pressure of higher production has the opportunity to embrace a new set of sustainable management practices. Industry success and global expansion will come from identifying investment and early development opportunities. Challenges will be addressed through equipment, tech, and best stewardship practices. Opportunities at an early stage and have not been proven at an industrial level, but they could boost profits. Okay? So, still pretty fast, requires some practice, but still manageable. So here's what a full varsity or a college debater might sound like. Global aquaculture is at a crossroads. New positive trends are key to solidify the industry. Thorson 414. Aquaculture is at a crossroads. Relatively new industry facing the pressure of higher production has the opportunity to embrace new set of sustainable management practices. Industry success and global expansion will come from identifying investment, early development opportunity. Challenges can be addressed through equipment, tech, and best stewardship practices. Opportunities at an early stage and have improved industrial level. They can boost profits. So, whoa, that was really fast. Don't worry, you don't have to be that fast right away. I just wanted to give you an example. If you're watching debates, like college debates or really high-level high school debates on YouTube, then this is what you have to learn how to hear and understand. So, whoa, what just happened? Like I said, debaters speed read or spread for short. So why would it be strategic to talk really fast? 3 reasons. First, you can include more arguments in a shorter amount of time because speeches are timed. You can introduce more evidence to support your arguments, which inherently make them more persuasive. And you can make more arguments than your opponents. So how do you get that fast? As with everything, practice, practice, practice. Even practicing 10 to 15 minutes a night will help you improve tremendously. Think about the amount of time you probably spend on Facebook. If you spend even a quarter of the time you spend on social media practicing your speed reading, you will be an amazing debater in no time. But seriously though, that sounds crazy. Think about it this way. It's like a gunfight. The more bullets you have, the better chance you have of winning. So do you want a gun with just 1 bullet or a machine gun with lots of bullets? Think of arguments as bullets. So, just a side note, I'm not advocating the use of guns or shooting people here. I'm just using a metaphor. Just gotta have that out there. And also, relax. No one expects you to be as fast as a varsity debater right away. It takes practice to get that fast. And to be honest, like you heard, in novice debates, no one really talks that fast. So it's okay. And if worse comes to worst, if you really are having a hard time understanding somebody, you can always ask them for their evidence and they'll let you look at it. You're gonna be fine. Trust me. Air fist bump. Seriously. So, coming to the end of this video, here's a quick list, well, not really a quick list, but a list of things you should have learned. First is a debate is different and awesome. Oh, just so you know, this list is talking about parts 1 and part 2. Second, that we have a specific topic that we're supposed to talk about. That's oceans. Third, that there's an affirmative team and a negative team. Fourth is we can't talk whenever we feel like it. Sometimes you're tempted to, but you can't. There are speaker positions and time limits. Fifth is that you have to argue both sides of the topic. This allows us to become better advocates. Sixth is that debaters are hyper-organized and use lots of evidence. Seventh is that you can bring and use your notes and evidence during the debate, even while speaking. 8 is that there are certain things you must prove to win a debate. 9th is that tournaments are fun and the debaters are cool. Come on, I'm a pretty cool person. Well, I try to be. And 10 is don't freak out. Be excited about how much to learn and how much there is to learn and discover, because debate is all about a process of discovery and learning, and that's what makes this activity so great. So, if you have any questions about the 10 things that I just covered, go back, rewatch a video, or go to a part where you were a little bit confused, rewatch it, and then always feel free to ask questions via comments by shooting me an email, which you can do through YouTube, or just asking your coach or people in the debate community that you know, like varsity debaters. Everybody really is excited about getting people in the activity, and no one will be annoyed if you want help. So I hope this video is helpful, and I'm super excited to be on this journey with you. Thank you.